Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Cask 529. I'm Brian.
And I'm Shona.
Tonight we've got kind of a unique show. Shona and I just got back from our annual 2 birthdays anniversary vacation that we take every May. Near the end. We were unpacking everything and we thought, you know what? This was a crazy month for bourbon. Bourbon, whiskey,
purchases.
Yes, procurement, I guess. So we'd like to share that with you, and if you guys will stick with us just a minute, we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Shona, this is crazy.
It is crazy.
I thought it was
Scary crazy.
A little bit crazy when you said, hey, let's do that, and then I was getting everything out. Shona was doing some other stuff, and I thought, this is not looking good.
No.
I may not be allowed to buy another bottle of bourbon for a week or so. I don't know.
Or a couple months.
Or 2 weeks.
Or a year.
A little drastic. So, we're just going to start. It's going to take a minute to get through this, guys. So,
Yep.
Just know that we didn't just go out randomly and buy all this stuff. I mean, there was reasons we bought everything for the most part. There were a couple things that we just came across and we had to have. But for what we do, there were things that we needed to have some stuff, and we'll tell you that this is why we got this. Okay? So
these are super exciting. Brian's going to let me talk about these. So I know that y'all have listened to me over the last couple months talk about our master blending class at High Bank Distillery. So Brian and I both went with a couple of our friends and we both blended our very own High Bank Distillery whiskeys, because I cannot call them bourbons because we both chose to put more rye in ours.
yeah, ours were both rye heavy.
Right. And so very cool experience. If you ever are in Ohio and have the opportunity to sign up for a class to go do this at High Bank, absolutely phenomenal group. It was a great time. So mine came in at 120.9 proof and Brian's came in at 120.66 proof. And the great news about these is we can order these monthly and get our same blend again.
They have our blend on file to our name, so all we have to do is contact them, say, hey, I'd like to order my bottle. If we have a special occasion, we don't necessarily, but if maybe one of the kids was getting married and we wanted to have bottles for that, they would put a special label on for us.
Yep. So Brian says Cask 529 BC and mine says Cask 529 SC. So that's how we chose to label them. So now I will say we blended these in the month of May. I believe it was back on May 19th. However, I did purchase these a few months ago. To be fair, the money didn't go out.
She's justifying her purchase now.
I'm justifying my purchase.
Next, we have more of Shona's purchases. First, though, on those, although we think High Bank is a terrific distillery, for those of you that aren't in Ohio, it's pretty limited. We understand.
Yep.
High Bank Distillery is in Columbus, Ohio. If you're ever in the area, look them up. Phenomenal product.
And a great restaurant too. I think they're
Yeah.
getting ready to open their 3rd location.
That is right.
And
I
so-
forgot that, but they are.
Phenomenal.
Okay, so
then for our anniversary, again, these tickets were purchased in advance. Justification again. So on our anniversary, which happens to be May 29th for Cask 529.
boy, isn't that fancy?
We went to New Riff down in Kentucky, and we blended our own blends down there as well. And again, another phenomenal experience. You know, both classes, we had things that we liked, things that we didn't like, things that, you know, you could merge the two things together. I, again, called my blend Cask 529 SC, and I never checked yours, but Brian named his the BC. So, again, phenomenal, great group, loved the experience, had a lot of fun doing that. So again, 2 new riffs that were our own blends from
Now
down
those
there.
are 100 proof.
They are.
Unlike High Bank, New Riff, it was still a great experience, but they didn't give you the room to play that High Bank gave you. They gave you only 3 products to blend. They were all 100 proof.
Yep.
So they were. I mean, we came up with good blends, but you were really limited. You didn't have the wheat factor or the rye factor, where High Bank gave you all that. But it was still a good experience, and I think we came up with a couple good bottles.
Yeah. We're
For that.
anxious to open these. We are going to let them set like maybe a month.
Yeah.
Before we actually open them, just so they get married together and
Yeah.
stuff like that. They didn't tell us to do that. That's just something we want to do, just to make sure they're well.
And we did learn at High Bank that as we were blending them, you know, if you could let them sit there 10 or 15 minutes, it was completely different than if you put all your ingredients in and tasted it. I
Yep.
mean, it didn't matter if you stirred it or they just kind of needed to mesh.
Yep.
Okay. With that being said, now I guess we'll get. Maybe we'll go up here first. Now these you guys have seen.
You have.
I'll still let Shona talk a little bit about them.
So, Brian did a video. We did a video on Brian's Kentucky haul. What was it, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago? Around 2 weeks ago, down in Kentucky. And what city was it?
Union, Kentucky.
Union, Kentucky, the big Kroger drop. He was lucky enough to get drawn. If you haven't checked that video out, please do so. But again, these are all whiskey/bourbons that he was able to get that day. He actually got the Blood Oath from the Lux Row Distillery.
Yes, now I was going to say that did not come from the drop
Nope.
in Union. That came from the distillery.
And then he also got this Blue Note Crossroads that we've heard a lot of stuff about. Our friend Mike highly recommended that to
Came
us.
from a random store that day after the drop. Now the next 3 bottles are what I got at the drop.
At the drop. And so he got the Old
Rip.
Old Rip Van Winkle, the 10-year. The Baker's 7-year, and the Michter's 10-year. So those are all from that bourbon hunting experience that you had with Mike and Terry.
Yep. So now from there, there's really no order here. Early in the month of May, Ohio, for our Ohio viewers or those surrounding Ohio that are familiar with OHLQ, which is basically the state controls the liquor business in Ohio. They did a surprise drop in early May. They announced it. Well, there was talk of it all day. People on Facebook groups and whatnot. Hey, I think this is happening. I think it was at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
4 o'clock. 4:16 actually. The emails hit from OHLQ to anybody that was signed up. Here's what we're releasing today at 6 o'clock, and here are the stores that will have something. We didn't necessarily know what they would have. So Shona and I got to a store, and we were fortunate enough to pick up.
Yep. So Brian was able to get the E.H. Taylor single barrel that day. And I'll put that behind here. And I was lucky enough to get the Weller Foolproof that day. All of these are OHLQ picks. They, or both of these are. They both have the little sticker and stuff on them. Very excited, especially after doing the last thing. We had last couple shows. I don't know. It was probably a week ago or 2 when we did the Weller Foolproof tasting for the first time, and it was delicious. So I am super happy that we have that again.
I just wanted
He's
to
knocking stuff over.
I wanted to expand on the Weller line for just 1 second. Shona and I don't buy anything secondary.
We try really hard not to. We cannot say that we never have. We try hard not to.
We really try hard not to. And I'm not going to get the letters right unless I can find it here. OHLQ. CYOP, CYPB, CYO.
The white labeled.
Yeah. Anyway, while we were on vacation, we went into a store. Actually, it was on our way home, and it was in Kentucky, the store that we went into. We will not probably ever have all the Weller line. The white label, we found it. I guess I found it. Shona was looking at some other stuff. I was excited, and then I realized that it was priced at $549. It's still sitting, exactly where I saw it.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with that E.H. Taylor rye. I found it in a store only to find that it's probably going to sit there for a long time because it was $600.
Yes. Yes. And that particular store had, it was endless. I mean, there was an Old Fitz 17 year. Of course, they had a shelf full of Stag. They had coolers full of Buffalo Trace.
Yeah. There's like a huge museum, and it's going to probably stay that way.
It was just a storefront on like a Main Street, USA, and phenomenal selection, but
you couldn't afford any of it.
Yeah, there was nothing in there we were buying. So again, earlier in the month, this was probably my first hardcore bourbon hunt. There was a drop here in Ohio, and I was able to get a bottle of E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. Didn't think we would ever see that bottle, but I was in the right place at the right time and got my hands on it. So, okay, wow. A couple here that are. So, most of our bourbon is purchased based on what we want to do with the show. So what we want to, either viewers recommend, hey, you guys should try this against that. You know, so in that case, maybe we only need to go find one bottle or whatever. So we did a live show early this month, and we were going to do some ryes. And so I needed a Russell's rye, and so that's how we ended up with this Russell's Reserve single barrel rye.
Actually, I think I need to correct you on that, and I apologize.
Okay.
But I think it was a live that you did with Mike and Mark. Mark wasn't drinking, but we did the Russell's lineup.
Oh,
And
maybe
so
it was
that's
a
why
Russell's
we had to
lineup.
replace
Yeah,
this one.
You're absolutely
And-
right. It was a Russell's lineup. We have done rye shows, but
Yes.
this was a Russell's line, so we needed that.
Yep, and so then we had to buy that for a replacement because we were almost
The
out.
Russell's 10 year, we didn't have enough in our remaining bottle to do that show. So we picked up a replacement for that. You know, really, since we've started this journey, there's probably not much more than a half a dozen replacements that we've purchased.
Right, right. And there are a lot of ones that we probably do need to replace here soon.
And actually, along those lines, we're going to be doing a live sometime in the near future. We don't have the specifics yet. We're going to do a bottle kill live.
Right.
So that should be,
We just have to wait on Mark to be able to drink again.
yeah, we have to wait on Mark. Mark's going to have to participate in that because Mike and I alone can't kill all this stuff. We try. Okay, I'll let Shona talk this one out.
So each month, we did skip the month of May, but each month we have been doing a whiskey club night here at our bar for up to 10 to 12 people. And so while we were on our vacation, we went ahead and picked up the 4 bottles that we needed for the June whiskey club night. And so we got 4 of the Michter's, the US 1 lineup. So we have the Michter Small Batch, the Sour Mash, the Small Batch Kentucky Straight Bourbon, and the American Whiskey, the unblended American Whiskey. And we also picked up the Kentucky Straight Rye. So again, those will be, we will probably do a blind on those ourselves on a show, but those are for our whiskey night.
Generally, after the whiskey night, we generally have about roughly a quarter of a bottle left of each. And so we do make some content out of what we have left. But that's not why these were purchased. These were purchased primarily for the whiskey night. And so that's why we have those. And that's kind of a challenge every month too, is what product, what line are we going to do, or is it going to be a comparison?
And so I'm going to put these ones down here to the side, the next ones that Bryan gets, because I know that we're running out of room and he still has.
Some?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
We'll just show. So if you joined our last live, it was on World Whiskey Day. And so we picked up 5 different whiskeys from around the world to do on that live. And so that included a Canadian Club, a Jameson, a Dewar's, a Paul John, and a Yu from Japan. So again, these are just going down here. That way Bryan has room for the rest of them down there.
So guys, normally on our lives, we don't go out and buy a specific entire line like we do for our whiskey night. But because it was World Whiskey Day, Shona thought we really need to honor whiskeys from around the world. So that's kind of what we did there.
Yep.
Okay, the last category, I guess, is from this last trip, right?
It is. It is. So, one that I'm super excited about, and if you've watched our show long at all, you know that I am a big Double Oak fan, and I have been really wanting this bottle, and it is the Peerless Double Oak. We found that in Kentucky. Super excited. I've not cracked this open yet, but you better believe that we will be cracking it open here in the near future. Probably be doing a single review on it and then lining it up with some other doubles to see how well it lines up.
Yeah.
Super excited about this one.
I've got some ideas on that one.
And also on this journey. So, we picked up another Old Forester 1924. Yes, we already have this. Mike and Terry was gracious enough to pick this up for us when they seen it when it came out a while back. But we were in Florida and we walked into a liquor store and they had it at MSRP and they had a ton of it. And it's really hard to come by. So we went ahead and picked up another one just so we would have it. That way we can enjoy the one that we have and know that we do still have one.
Let me say, it's really hard to come by here in Ohio. Based on what the store looked like where we got this from, apparently it's not hard to come by everywhere.
Right, and so, but in our journey in Kentucky, right after we left Florida, I will tell you that I did not see the 1924 in a single Kentucky store that we went into.
No.
So,
and the one day, the day before we actually came home, it was kind of dedicated Bourbon Day, and we probably went in half a dozen stores that day.
Yep. We did.
So yeah, it's not easy to find.
It's not. So, in our journey in Kentucky, the rest of these are all Kentucky. Well, no, Bryan has one special one after that, but while in Kentucky, going to those, we did pick up the Henry McKenna 10-year. Again, we know that we can get this in Ohio sometimes, but not all the time, so we went ahead and picked it up because we did want it, due to the fact that we just recently had a granddaughter, and her middle name is McKenna, and so Papaw has been wanting a
Had to
bottle.
have a bottle of McKenna. Had to have it.
And then before we went and did the new Riff blending experience, we actually went up to the distillery in the 3rd floor. They have like a little tasting bar slash, you can get some small bites and stuff. So we went ahead and tasted the new Silver Grove, the 2024. We have the 2023, but the 2024 just came out like a month or so ago. It came out in between the last time that we've been there. So we tasted the Silver Grove, the bourbon and the rye. We both really liked the bourbon over the rye, so we went ahead and picked up the 2024 Silver Grove.
Now, the girl told us at the tasting bar that the 2023 bottle that we have is a much sweeter, milder blend. Where this year they went with higher proofs, and she said it will have a much, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but it won't be like the 2023. So that really made us jump on it.
Yeah. It did.
And we loved the 2023, but we were excited to hear they used a little higher proofs.
It's so, where I found the Peerless, Double Oak, and the Henry
Michter's,
McKenna, and all the Michter's in Covington, Kentucky, they had a slew of single barrel selections.
Bottle picks, or
Bottle
barrel
picks.
picks, barrel picks, I'm sorry.
There's a couple girls working. The one girl, I don't know if she was the manager or what. Super friendly, super nice. Offered us tastings of some of the barrel picks to see if we liked them. Explained a lot of different things to us. Super friendly. And so Bryan, being a Bullet fan, we know that we also have a black label here from Ohio pick. But it was one of his favorites that he tasted there. So we picked up another Bullet single barrel. This is from Covington Tobacco. Really good. Excited to crack that one open at a later time.
And that's actually one of the ones that I knew was getting low. There were other bottles there that were store picks that I could have been interested in, but I knew this was getting low. I tried this one, I really liked it, so we went ahead and got the replacement for the one we have.
And then we got one more barrel pick from the Party Source. It is the RD1 Apple Pie in a bottle. I am telling you what, we both fell in love with this one. So it's the Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey finished with Brazilian Ambarano wood. It's 117.26 proof. So I don't know if anybody's been to the Party Source, if you have or not. So they actually have what they call the Merchant Club that's back behind, well, it's in the back of the store. And so it has like a little door and everything. So it's like a little bar in the back. It has nice seating, nice bar area. And you can go back there and you can taste up to 4 of their
store picks.
Their store picks. You get like a wee little taste, and they're like $1 a piece. But then you can actually get pours of other things too, or a full pour of their store pick or whatever. Costs a little bit more. So we each did 4 different ones, and this was one that Bryan did, and he ended up getting a pour of it as well while we were there. Truly an amazing pour. We had never had an RD one, so we were excited to taste one, and it was really good. So a store pick that we picked up down there.
Okay, last but not least, this bottle we didn't actually buy, so I guess I shouldn't get in trouble for this one. The reason we went to Florida, we go somewhere different all the time. This year we said let's go to Florida. We went to Cocoa Beach. One of our boys just recently moved to Cocoa Beach, took a job down there. Can we say where? I guess, maybe. Anyway, it was going to be my birthday while we were down there. It was his mom's birthday. He got me a bottle of Eagle Rare for my birthday. It was waiting when we got there. So,
So Clay and Chris, thank you so much.
yes, thank you guys. Nice surprise, great surprise. And Sean was happy I didn't have to buy it. So as you can see, it was a great month of May. As we were going through this, I realized that really it wasn't all my fault.
It was not all his fault.
In fact, like a very small percentage of it, I think, was my fault. We're going to go with that.
We're going to go with that. I hope that we do not have a lineup like this in the future months, because this was a little bit overkill
Oh my
this
God.
month.
Yeah, and guys, this is just how it kind of sneaks up on you, because we didn't know, I didn't realize it was happening.
And to be fair, Bryan was in Kentucky 2 times in the month of May. So it's really hard not to go to Kentucky and not buy, because there's so much stuff you cannot get here in Ohio. In fact, when I was at that Covington Tobacco store. She's like, so anything else you need? I'm like, yeah, I need a lot of other stuff, but I gotta stop.
Yeah. There was a Woodford, special Woodford pick, or I shouldn't say pick.
They had a Woodford double oak pick that was really good, but I had to decide. I have Woodford, the double oaks, and I can get a double oak here. I don't need a pick because I really wanted the Peerless. And so I really had to decide, okay, what do I want the most?
We also thought we found one of her Woodford Master Collections that's on her hit list for 2024. Shona researched it pretty quickly, but in depth while we were in the store. It was actually from 2 years ago.
Right.
So
it was the historic entry, not the historic entry.
maybe if it was November and she was still looking for it, maybe she would have bought it. But it's not. It's only May.
Yep. So I still got plenty of time. So this is our lineup for May, our haul.
And these will, some of them have already been on the show. If they haven't been, they will be.
Yep.
So I think we're good, realistically, for probably a couple months. There are a couple things that are coming down the pike that I think if we get word, we will get. Like Russell's 15, for instance. Mm-hmm. Probably won't ever find it, but if we do, if we get a line on it, I'm pretty sure that's something we would go get. Probably our picks for the year. Although I don't think there's anything due to come in the next month or so along those lines. So that's where we're at. That's what we've got. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button. Anything here you guys have had, tell us what you think about it.
Yep.
If you haven't done the blending classes and you're in Ohio and you can get to High Bank, I highly recommend doing that. It's a great experience.
The new Riff one is as well.
The new Riff is as well. Great people at both facilities, and it was just a cool experience. So if you get a chance to do that, recommend that. Even if you don't want to go do the blending, go check out those places.
Yeah.
They're great. They really are great facilities. And if you're hunting bourbon and you're in Kentucky and you see a store, check it out. Really. The best store we went in on this trip was in a shopping plaza that it didn't look like someplace you were afraid to go into, but it looked like someplace that wasn't going to have much.
Yeah, but they had a ton.
Yeah, they really
I'm
did.
feeling kind of short back here behind all these bottles, guys. I'm like,
okay, guys, like button, please. Please hit that like button, like button, like button. If you haven't already subscribed to us, give us a subscribe. Also, we're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, and that's going to be a several bottle giveaway when we get there.
it will be.
We have a couple, 3 of those already. There will be some more. And drop us a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you've had any, like I said, what you thought of them. And until next time, be safe, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.